My name is Emmanuel Nwankwo. I was born at Nri in Anambra State in 1960 to Mr. Hyson Nwankwo and Teresa Nwankwo, both of them teachers. I decided in 1985 to become a musician. I went to a place called Oga. It was Ubo-Aka. And I bought one that resembles this one. I toyed with it for a few weeks, but I was not satisfied with it. I thought it was a bit antique, sort of, so I dropped it. I decided also that I wanted to do something original, something cultural, something that will relate to my people. So I decided that I was not only going to use the top piano, but I was going to develop it. And also to develop other African musical instruments like the ogene and the xylophone. And since then, I have been an indigenous music technologist and a musician since 1985 when I met the musician. Apart from the top piano, I have investigated the ogene, and it was possible for me to develop an ogene phone that would have universal musical tones, just like you have in the keyboard and the guitar. I managed to develop at least a 2-octave ogene phone. And I also investigated the xylophone. But for now, I have the Ubo-Aka here. My work on the Ubo-Aka has spanned decades. This is a 1-octave Ubo-Aka that we have here, but there is a double step Ubo-Aka. One of the challenges in this work has always been amplification. All the years I have been researching on improving amplification of the instrument. Sometimes when I attend shows, I will be intimidated by the guitar and the keyboard and the amplifiers that they are using. And the lack of amplification for the Ubo-Aka has always been a great impediment. This lack of amplification has forced me to waste tremendous resources on research on how to improve the tonal quality and the sound quality. The Ubo-Aka that I have now is very, very different from what our fathers built. And I think it goes for our education that we are able to improve Ubo-Aka to the level that we now have a double-octave Ubo-Aka, a 3-octave Ubo-Aka. My input on the top piano has to do with the double step that I have made, and maybe the amplification methods that I am applying now, like the electronic methods that I am applying to improve amplification. So I think the instrument is basically the same. Apart from the double octave that I have made, the instrument is basically the tonal structure, everything is the same. There's no difference. Our ancestors worked with the knife because of the lack of proper equipment. They worked with the knife, and they had to find a very pliable wood like oak. But today, we don't work with a knife. We work with modern equipment. So we don't need to use the knife. Even the saw that we use is not mechanical, it's the machine saw. So that's the only production technique that has changed. It was this that inspired this. In terms of tonal structure, it's the same. Our ancestors understood music, they understood the tones. I've heard some musicologists say that African music has no key, but that is a wrong theory, because it does have, the Ubo-Aka does prove that African music had key. This is a one-octave instrument. This one is old, but it's a one-octave instrument. And every musician knows what one octave is. You can pitch on a minor or a major. It's tunable like all musical instruments. So our ancestors knew this, and the idea that African music has no universal key is wrong. You can understand this when you look at the harmony that exists with our drums, our ogene, our udu, when they are playing with all these percussion instruments. There is a harmony, a musical harmony. You see, these things have been lost upon the new generation. They don't understand what our grandfathers used to do. Our grandfathers would get drums, but they don't just play the drums. They would pitch the drum, pitch it until it gets to the necessary frequency. The ogene is already pitched. Every other instrument that they use is harmonizing with the song. But that's what our new generation don't understand. This was designed by the Hausa craftsmen who bring the calabash down to the east. You see, this calabash is now grown in the north because the Igbos who own the top piano, who own the Ubo-Aka, no longer produce the calabash. We used to produce it in those days and use it as plates and all, but today the calabash comes from the north. You see, I have to go to Asala to get my raw materials like the calabash. So they used to call me Oriausa when they see the calabash. It's not Igbo. The painting on the back is not Igbo, it's Hausa. Well, that's my own interpretation of that ancient standard. The instrument is not without defect. It's not without defect. But no instrument is perfect. No instrument is perfect. But suffice it to say that the top piano can now be pitched. If you want a C instrument, I can make you a C instrument. If you want a G instrument, I can make you a G instrument. If you want it pitched on A, I can pitch it on A for you. Any key that you want, I can build it for you. So, as for chords and all, it's left for the performer to see how we can do it. But I can build instruments on all the universal keys like C, A, B, C, and so on, and G, and all of that. I can build my instruments on that. And I can play songs on that. If you have a song there that is on A, and the guitar is playing on A, I can bring my top table and play along with them because it's on the same key. The problem of the top piano is that it is an 8-tone instrument. And you have to repitch and repitch in order to play. Assuming now I have pitched it on A and then the song on B. It means that I have to repitch it on B so that I can play with those people who are playing the B song. It is possible to play the chords that you want because it's a tone that you're using. You can only play two notes at once and not like in the keyboard where you can play chords. The only chords you can play here is 2. But I think we are 4 playing Ubo-Aka. We can play chords. So in those days, everybody had Ubo-Aka, all the young people, they had Ubo-Aka. So they could do collaborations and all, So I don't think Ubo-Aka has any limitation. Even with respect to the chords, unless you're doing solo. But if you're not doing solo and you are at least maybe an ensemble of 4 Ubo-Aka, you can do your chords. As far as I'm concerned, though the instrument has its own defects, it has its own advantages too. In the first place, it is a composer's instrument. It is portable. You can carry it anywhere. You can go to the forest with it. You can go anywhere with it. It's a very small, handy instrument. And you still can use it to compose. When you have inspiration, no matter where you are, you can just bring out your instrument and compose with it. So I think the instrument that gave us our folklore, our indigenous Igbo folklore, is not a small instrument. It didn't have chords and all, but it has its own advantages. Most of the folklore we have now was inspired by this top piano. So I don't think it is fair to the top piano to say that it is inferior. Of course not. It has its own advantages. This is the standard by Igbo, who in his lifetime played for royalty. All the Igwes, he was used to visit their palaces and play for them. Much of the folklore was not like the one that I had just done about any song that I just did now was inspired by Ubo-Aka. All the folklore, Ulioma, was inspired by Ubo-Aka. All the folklore in Igbo folk story, was inspired by Ubo-Aka. People had no other serious musical instrument to compose with, apart from Ubo-Aka. So I think apart from West Nigeria, Nelu did some tremendous work on the instruments and on the songs that are adaptable to the Ubo-Aka. Every folk song in Igbo land is adaptable to the Ubo-Aka because the Ubo-Aka was the instrument they used to compose it. So, as far as our people go, as far as Igbo music go, the Ubo-Aka remains the best instrument. And you know, I've also researched making an electric Ubo-Aka. And I have a prototype now of the electric Ubo-Aka. It's all about, it's because the top piano is made of bronze. If it were an 8-stringed instrument like the guitar, I would have just brought in the guitar pickup and it would have been okay. But I don't have to use the guitar pickup because it will be inadequate. The length of the guitar pickup will not pick some of the tones here in the top piano. Though it may pick others, but it will not pick all of them. So my job, I have to devise a top piano pickup. And that is what I have done. I've devised a top piano pickup to make the top piano electric. That is the extent of my over 4-decade work on indigenous Igbo music technology.